I want to serve and not sell. And everywhere I was selling, I've removed. I'm like, I'm not selling anymore. I'm just serving. And I've probably did more work in 5 months than I have in the 5 years before. And I've reached more people in the last 5 months too. Last week on the Thursday call, you had talked about something about unfunneling. We're supposed to be gifting things, and we're doing it out of a heart-centered way. And I had someone actually join my email list. And after that call, I got so like wrapped up on I need to go remove that funnel because I didn't want to sell them anything. And I knew that my process that I had currently in place would sell them something. And I just had to go remove it. So I was unfunneling everything. And then we just kept on talking. And I remember sharing with you that when I joined Atlas, I wasn't ready for it, or I said I wasn't ready for it. And what made me join was because you said you come once and then you can do it as many times as you want. And I was
Mm.
like, oh, cool. I'm going to come and I'm going to learn what he has to say, but I won't implement anything because I knew I didn't have capacity. And
Mhm.
so this round in Atlas, I'm actually doing it automatically. So I've got all the knowledge. So every time you're saying something again, I'm like, oh yeah. And so that's why I had to go unfunnel. And I've noticed that my reach has increased, my ability to do the work because I'm not struggling anymore. I'm like, I want to serve and not sell. And everywhere I was selling, I've removed. I'm like, I'm not selling anymore. I'm just serving. And I've probably did more work in 5 months than I have in the 5 years before. And I've reached more people in the last 5 months too.
Oh, wow, that is epic.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit? Can we touch on the emails that you had?
Hmm.
Was it the standard stuff where you opt in and then you start selling something right away?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
Yeah. So I had like, get my free guide. So the first email was like, here's your free guide. And then the second one was, oh, did you read the free guide? But also book a call with me. And then the third one was, I hope you enjoyed the free guide. And did you know I have this online course? So I was selling hard, but that's what I
Yeah.
was taught. And I remember creating it and like struggling to create it. But I did it because that's, I have a passion for what I do and I didn't know how to reach people. So you hire coaches and you try to figure it out. And I hit a point where I was like, I just want to talk. What would it
Yeah.
be like to so when I unfunneled, actually, I deleted that email sequence so that that person would not get a second email from the funnel,
Yeah.
from the sequence. And I wrote another one to send after they opt in because the gift or the free guide is actually amazing. Like that, there's nothing wrong with that. So I just said, thank you. This has subscribed you to my email list. You can click unsubscribe at any time. For more free resources, there's a free resource tab and there's my YouTube channel. Boom, that's it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And I've had more people subscribe to my email channel in the last month than ever. So this
Wow.
giving, and I'm told that a lot that people think I'm very generous, but yet I'm doing it anyway. And I did create my online course, and I've had 8 people sign up on my original course, and we start again March 10th. So I'm just starting to talk about the March 10th release and see what happens. Yeah,
That is so amazing.
cool.
I'm happy
It's
that
cool.
we got a chance to pull this out and spotlight this because one of the things that anybody listening to this, it's not that we're saying never send an email after someone opts in, but it's what those emails actually say and what they're doing. Because for anybody who's listening to this that is not in Atlas, one of the things that I talk about a lot is that pressure funnel that is on our timeline. Hey, listen,
Hmm.
if this is opening and closing on Friday or by next week, you got to buy this now, that kind of thing. And that's what we're meaning by unfunneling it and making it a
Hmm.
lot more on their timeline when they decide to buy something. And it doesn't mean that we never offer anything, but it's in the way that we
We
offer it.
offer.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a little
And
bit.
I do send an email to my list every week. Every week they get an email from me, and I have a 1% unsubscribe ratio. Like that's all Kajabi ever shows me is 1%. And that's only on every fifth or sixth email. So it's not even
Yeah.
every email. And so my list is growing and I'm not losing many followers.
Great.
And the ones that I do lose, I think they're actually people that just were curious to see what I was doing, that aren't really having sleep issues or aren't really looking for a solution. They're just, we've all done that, opted on other people's email list to see what they're doing, right? So,
Sure.
yeah, no, it's been amazing to switch the mindset that it's okay to serve and not sell and not have to pressure people, but just show up and be you. I think that's been the biggest learning for me in Atlas. Just show up and
Thank
be
you.
you.
It's very simple inside of Atlas, like the methodologies or mindsets, right? It's no magical thing like, oh my, I've never heard that before. It's just like,
Hmm.
why don't I just start doing that? And why don't I just start calming down and serving and giving and all these things? And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, things begin to grow. At least that's been my experience over the last little while,
And I'll
and
tell you the other thing that's been that I didn't do the first time around because I knew I couldn't. But you always talk about copying their words, copying your dream client's words. And I've never gotten there, but about, I would say a month ago, I sat down with a spreadsheet and I was like, okay, so I took all the consult calls that I had, client files, like just information I had, and I started typing it. And they say the same thing over and over. But yet
yeah.
I don't use those words in my marketing.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
do
you know it
now. I do
it's
now,
sitting right there, right? Yeah, exactly,
right?
right? I mean, what do I say? How do I fill this template out or whatever? What go back to what your clients are telling you or what you're hearing. And
Yeah,
this upfront work now, it'll get easier and easier because you have this library of
yeah,
knowledge and information only from your clients that nobody else
yeah,
has. And that's why your marketing
yeah.
will stand out to those dream clients.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Once I wrote that down and I put like I of course I color coded everything. That would be my I don't have ADHD, but I have a brain that likes to be things in place, right? So
For sure.
red is all their limiting beliefs. Like green was their empowering beliefs. And then it was like the oasis, I think I might have put it purple, like what they really want. And that's another thing that I think they get wrong in the marketing world. They want to get rid of their pain. No, yes, but no,
Yeah.
is once they're rid of their pain, whatever that is, their struggle, what is the life they're going to have? That's what they really want. That clicked with me like that was probably like 3 weeks ago we did that again. And
Yeah.
that clicked. And when that clicked, I was like, oh my God. And I remember sitting in my chair because I wake up early and I journal for an hour and I was like, my clients don't want better sleep. That's the last thing they want. They don't want to think about sleep. They want to exercise. They want to be with their family. They want to go on vacation. They want all these things they're not able to do. And I was like, Joey, like he gets it and no one else is teaching like you do. Because you're right,
Thank you.
since I've switched my language to, um, and I start asking the question, so if you were to sleep again, what would you be doing that you're not doing? And they start listening to things, and I'm like, that goes on the spreadsheet because that's what I market now. That's what they want. They want their life back. Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
it's that mindset shift that we have to do.
Yeah, it's the unlearning, right?
Oh, yeah. Unlearn everything we've learned. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can see that when I categorize that learn or the unlearner, you're in that unlearner category. Most of people in Atlas are, as you know, are in the unlearner
Uh,
category.
Yeah.
And you're second round now in it. And it's like, wait a minute, now it actually clicks. It's really starting to
Yeah.
click. And I love to hear these stories. Love, love,
Yeah.
love to hear the stories.
Well,
Right.
and I knew for a long time that you were going to be my other business coach. I had made that decision probably a year before I joined, but I
Wow.
just knew that with the things I was going through, that I would not be able to put the time or even I didn't have the capacity. And
Yeah.
so when you offered come back anytime you want, I was like, well, okay, that works for me. And I offered that in my program too, because I have always wanted to offer that. And so I'm in another program for other stuff that offers that as well. Like you pay once, you have lifetime access. And to me, that makes so much sense because not only are we benefiting more, if I would have just taken it once, Joey, I wouldn't have gotten the learning I'm getting.
Right. Right.
Right.
And
And
you
then you
would
wouldn't
have,
be having this testimonial from me because I would have said, well, yeah, I went through it, but that didn't work for me. It's
it
not
didn't
that it
work for
didn't
me.
work. I didn't have the capacity to make it work. So now I'm re-listening and things are clicking. The first time you hear some things don't click, right? It
Yep.
needs time to integrate first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I realize this, and so now in front of the marketing piece of it is where I even say that to people that most of the time when you go through this the first time, you probably won't get that amazing result or money revenue that you want. And that was a hard decision for me to make and go and publicly say that and
Mhm.
then say, but you should buy it. Like come in, right?
Yeah,
And I'm saying, but you're not going to make any money right now, or you
I
may not
know.
make as much, right? But it's the truth. Like, so why not tell the
Yeah.
truth and get the right people in who understand it? It's not that you're not going to make anything, but most people are like yourself and they need their time. And I just want to be there for you and everybody else
Mhm.
to you get it when you get it. And I'm going to be there
Yeah.
all the way through. And
Yeah.
that to me is what the business is all about. If you're really heart-centered and you have a mission to help the people that you really want to help, rather than just worrying about money. Because imagine, like, I mean, I don't know what would have happened, but even if you did go through that one time and you were pressured to go through it in 12 weeks and whatever, and you're like, I really didn't get anything out of this, maybe or maybe not, you would have said, give me my money back. Maybe you wouldn't, but then it would still be like, yeah, that stuff doesn't work for me. And that would not give
Yeah.
me a good credibility. And you would never be a customer again, right? Because, like,
No.
well, I paid him. I'm not going to ask him for my money back, but his stuff doesn't work for me. And that's not a good
Right. And
thing.
that's not a good thing. And I think heart-centered business owners, like, I'm not doing this job because I really want to be an entrepreneur. Like, I
Yeah.
think last time you said you either are or you're not, or something you were going on the call. I I don't have a choice, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain that, except that once I started this journey, is there's something that tells me I need to do this. But I don't have the skills because I've never been a business owner before. So there's been a lot that I've had to learn on top of what I teach to my clients. But I've already been through so many where I've paid way more money than your program, but then after a set time you were done. And then to do it again, you had to spend the same amount of money or maybe like a 20% off.
Mm-hmm.
Then it made me feel almost like I just wasn't getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even explain what that does, but like it was discouraging that then I had to go find someone else because while I took her program, that didn't work for me. Now I'm going to go take another program. And there was never, I'll support you till the end
Yeah.
kind of aspect. So you were just a number to them. And
Yeah.
that's not what I feel from you at all. I feel like you truly are here to support us and to teach us. And I mean, you forgot to record last night. And you just, the Facebook that you just did on that, or the live or whatever you did, it was like, that's what being heart centered is for me. We will make mistakes. We're not perfect, but we keep showing up. And I was so,
Thank you.
when I saw that, I was like, my heart was like, there he goes. He's admitting to, and that's what draws me in. You're admitting to being human.
Yeah.
And we all do those mistakes. It's not even a mistakes. I mean, look, we got to
Yeah.
connect today because you forgot to record.
Yeah,
So,
that's the blessing. There's always a blessing from a tragedy. Let's just call it a tragedy or whatever. Like, because that's
yeah,
what people look at. Like, how can I get like this really bad thing happened to me? Where's the good? Where's the good in this? And it may take years to figure it out and find it out. But in this case, just a small little glitch,
yeah,
and we're having this epic conversation because of it. So I'm very grateful, and I'm grateful for you
yeah,
and the tribe for allowing that to just let's be human, right? Thank you for bringing that up. I truly want to
yeah.
receive that and take that in because um when Lorna reached out to me afterward, like I saw her face. I don't know if you saw it when I said, "Oh my God, I forgot to record." Like her face dropped as much as mine. I'm like, and and then she reached out afterwards. She goes, I really feel for you. I don't know. I can't even imagine how you felt. And it really wasn't about the content. I just felt bad because you were having such a great conversation with Kevin and both of you. And
Mhm.
that was so good. And I just
Yeah,
feel really bad. And I'll get over it,
yeah,
right? But I just felt
yeah,
really bad that we couldn't have that recorded for him. He's okay with it and everything else. I'm sure it'll all come up
yeah,
again. But
it will.
that's how you
Yeah,
know when you truly care about everything else, right? It's not
Yeah.
about me. It's about them. Oh my God, I forgot to record this thing. I didn't get my testimonial from Carol at the beginning. Like
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, but the conversation we were having, and that's what other people need to, the content is great. Like it's, amazing. But that conversation with Kevin, like you're right, that was because he was trying to figure out what he was selling. Can't remember. And it was like, then I asked him one question, because this is the question that really, but we're in it together. Like when I asked him that question, but yeah, once they do this, like your solution, then how is their life different? And he started talking. You saw the change in him. You saw that
Yes.
they want this, they want that, they want that. And he was writing down, man, like he got a lot of notes from that. And that's how we can help each other in your group too. Like it's it's small enough, it's big enough, but it's small enough for us to be able to connect with the other people and be able to have those open discussions, I find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and thank you for saying that because that's what the intention is. It's to keep the group always small enough that we have these one-on-one collaborations and then everybody knows each other and
Mm.
feels okay with stepping out and helping. And I think that's the dynamics of the group. So if anybody's listening to this now and wondering, oh, what's a group, why is a group better, or it's not as good as one-on-one, and I used to think that too, like no,
Yeah.
one-on-one is way better, but that's only you and me. Like right now, if I was coaching you and whatever, it would just be my opinion, and
Yeah.
that might be okay, but imagine this is going over the course of a year and it's only you and me. There's just no other collaboration or different opinions or perspectives that you and Lorna both brought in addition to mine to Kevin. And he
Yeah.
was like, you just said it, you saw the breakthrough happen right in
Yeah.
that moment. Like it was
Yeah.
sparks. And it's like for me, my heart just smiles when I see that because you can
Yeah.
see the breakthrough. And I'm like, wow, this totally
Yeah.
changed this person today. And it
Yeah.
wasn't
He was
me.
clicking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I love about this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been in groups where the groups were so big that there wasn't any of that.
Right.
Right? It was just like the person talking and that was it. And I've taken that, what you teach there, I've taken that for my group where I do a little bit of teaching, but then we really do a check-in and one of my clients, so she's been a private client for a long time, but she joined the group as well. She actually reflected to me last week. She goes, I missed the group call on Wednesday, but I went and I watched it and oh my God, you're right, Carol. Group coaching is so much better. And I'm like, I've been telling you this, but she's adamant that she wants group and my private time because some of the issues that I work with people, they can't be shared in group. A lot of it can. So I've fired a few clients because of you, which was pretty awesome. When you said that I did that the first round though. I really sat down with my client list because I was doing one-on-one only. And I was like, some of these, they're not even what I want to work with. Like it's not even, but they weren't even about sleep. It's just that they found me through someone else and I took them on as clients to
Yeah.
coach them, but they weren't what they weren't I didn't feel joy working with them. And so now, like I just took another one-on-one client, but she had only if she bought my program too because the
Yeah.
information is all in there, but she doesn't have the capacity in her nervous system to do the group.
Right.
So we're going to do the private sessions until she can actually join the group,
Right. Totally get it.
right? But she can still have the group calls and I can still help the ones that can't actually be on a program, but they
Yes.
get to watch all the calls. They get to have those questions and different perspective anyway, because you're right, one-on-one, you don't have enough. You cannot, it's only so much time and you can't hit everything they need to know, learn from
And
others.
there's nothing wrong with the one-on-one because that's an
No.
added component. But I remember starting at one-on-one, and still a lot of
Mhm.
people will go that route as well. I don't know if that's the right way to go because you add one-on-one if someone is needs a little bit more help after they've gone through the group session of it, and especially in your case when there's things that they don't want to share in the group, that's totally
Yeah,
cool.
and they can't
And
share, yeah.
yeah, and don't you find that in the group setting, let's say that I'm asking a question where like, so where do you need some help or something? And you're you really don't know. You're like, I don't really know what to do. So let's say that that was a one-on-one coaching that we had every week, and I open up the conversation and say, where do you need some help today? You're like, I,
I don't know.
I don't know, right? And that because that happens. But then in the group setting, this is what I found is that something someone says might trigger you. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, wait a second. And then it automatically says, and then you can raise your hand and say, I need some help on this, or I need some clarity that's related to you. So now it opens up a
yeah,
conversation. So you don't have to
yeah,
think sometimes because you're inspired by someone else's response or their question. Is that true?
exactly. Oh, big time. Or you didn't know you had a question about that
Yeah.
because you know the four levels of learning, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Right? And so then someone else asks the question and you move up a level and like, oh, now you know you don't know it, but you don't know what to do about it. And then you
Yeah.
ask Joey, and then you move to the next level where, oh, now you can start actually doing that and then you can start mastering it. But what I found with the group is that the things I didn't even know, like I didn't know that I was supposed to look for dream clients. Like, like that was, well, I knew I was supposed to look for clients, but we did the
Yeah.
client avatar everywhere else, right? But once like that became so ingrained in me now what a dream client is. But when I hear like even sometimes Rashna will ask question and I find her questions are really good because it makes me think, huh, I didn't think of that, or huh, how would I say that? Even though it's not
Right.
my dream client, I'm
Right.
still kind of processing with her. And
Right.
then it allows me then to see my dream client from a new point of view. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I love when other people, and a lot of times I don't have questions when I pop in.
Right.
I just want to listen to what everybody else has to say. And from that, you're right, brings up, oh, I can do that too. And I really see the shift in my business in the last, I would say, 5 months. Um,
Amazing.
I just, it truly is. And it's something I've worked hard for. Like my husband will tell you, I've put in a lot of hours and not hard hours, but just a lot of hours of what is it that I want to teach a lot of this. But I didn't have like, I didn't know how to do the marketing part. And it's not that you're teaching us marketing per se, like you
Yeah.
are, but not in the way that I've the other one, oh, write an email and have this components in it. And I know you have a course on email marketing that I'll probably reach for one
Yeah.
day, but
Well, no,
um,
you're it's part of Atlas anyway. Like, yeah,
oh,
I
okay,
just
I just
haven't.
haven't gone that far. And I know I have other things there when that I just haven't touched yet because I know my capacity, right? I know what I can
Yes.
handle. And I
Yeah.
know that if I try to study too much, I'm not gonna, then I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna be overwhelmed. So, but
Yeah.
so that's why I'm really focusing on Atlas, how you say simplify things. I
Yeah.
that like you can do things so much easier than the way I was doing it. Like, and that's really what I've been working on. And since I've been doing that, I've done so much more.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
I want to have
Yeah.
another one of these discussions, maybe in at the end of this round of Atlas or maybe through the next one or whatever, when you get a little bit more clarity and maybe moving in and how your business has gone. So we can update people. Like, here's what's
Yeah.
going on. Like, let me ask you this. If someone wanted to reach out to you and talk to you about your process of Atlas, would that be okay?
That would be perfectly okay. I have actually one person I'm talking to right now that she keeps asking me, and I'm like, you just have to do it because you won't know until you're in. But people have fears, right, about hiring
Yeah.
another coach.
Yeah.
And I really get that because she's trying to sell a course she's built without reaching out to dream clients to see what they actually want. And so, but it's not working, and we know why it's not working. So I'm really hoping because I know that once she did say to me actually yesterday that she's been listening to a lot of your calls or you must do a Facebook Live somewhere that she's been listening to. And
Nice.
and yeah, so if people wanted to ask me like what my experience has been like, I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
And you always say I have ADHD, and I'm like, yep, he does, and you can tell, but that doesn't stop you from delivering quality content.
Thank you.
And I'll always remember too, one time I reached out to you because of something personal, and you explained it to me in the way, I don't know if you remember that message we had about something. Anyway, but you came back and you explained to me how you saw people and how anyway, it was so eye-opening, and like he went above and beyond the course curriculum, and you make me see
Wow.
life a whole different way. And I was like, here's the perfect coach for me, that yes, he wants my business to succeed, but you also cared about me as a person. That
Wow.
message, it was a private message we had between the two of us, and I had just explained how something had made me feel uncomfortable, but and I knew it was my shit. I told you that. I said, I know it's just how I'm programmed. And I just wanted to tell you that whatever. And you came back with the most, it was just like, yeah, I know what you mean. And this is how I see it. And I remember after that going, wow, like he is really in it for the people, not for the money. That was my kind of like, I know you care enough to take the time, and it was on a Saturday, to reply to me and put me at ease. Um,
Wow.
and
Thank
so
you.
that was another part of me that I was like, yeah, I knew that but I was pulled to you from the beginning to, and I had said to another friend that I wish she would join you. She's a coach as well. Um, he's going to be my future coach. I just don't know when. And she's like, how do you know? I'm
Yes.
like, just because I love how he talks about things. And I said, and I know I'm not ready, but when I am, he's going to be my future coach. So that's why when we talked, you might have believed that I was a quick sale, but I wasn't, right? Because I had
Mm-hmm.
been in your world, and you talk about that too. We
Yeah.
don't know who's in our world. We have no idea who's watching us. Um, and so if we're authentic, and what you show on your social media and who you are on the course jives.
Yeah.
And that's what another good thing is. People usually show this side, and then you go in the course and it's not even close
Yeah.
to what they're, right? But you're authentic. Like it's the same thing. You talk about the same thing. You talk about it the same way. You don't hide. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Wow.
I could keep
This
going,
is,
but
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just share whatever you want to share because
yeah.
there's a lot of things you're telling me that I didn't know. And
Mhm.
I know that we've talked about your journey into Atlas and how fast the sale was, right? The thing. And by the time we actually connected and got on the Zoom and it's like, hey, okay, where do I pay?
I
And
think it was like two
that you
hours.
were, yeah, I was like really quick, but then it was, but I knew you were still watching, but I didn't know the other part of it where it was like, no, I've been watching for a
Mhm.
year and you're, that's going to be my coach, that kind of thing. And you put the intent in. I didn't know any of that. So
Yeah.
that is like, wow, that's like really
Yeah.
powerful. Uh, wow, you're giving me a lot of really, really
Mhm.
great things to take into the weekend
Yeah.
and forever. It's amazing. So thank you for that. And I hope
Yeah.
that people are hearing this because with your friend, and I just want to go back to your friend for a second because I'm pretty sure that there's other people that might have listened to that scenario where, well, I've already built this product and it's not working, and Joey's all about go and find information first and then build the product. And now what do I do? Well, we can fix it. Right. We can
Yeah.
fix. I'm not saying, I mean, there's a couple people who have come into Atlas and they were concerned about that same thing. Like, I've already built this. Now what do I do? Do I need to tear it all down and rebuild? I'm like, no, not at all. Like you're ahead of everybody else. We're just going to stop the process right now, slow it down, and rejig some things. That's all. You've got some great
Yeah.
content here, but just be okay with breaking a little bit of it, right? So
Mhm.
maybe you've done all these videos and stuff. Well, yeah, you might have to redo a couple of videos, but if it's just a couple of PowerPoint slides or something like that, let's just rejig them, and just
Yeah.
start from there. So it doesn't mean that people need to just redo everything from scratch. That's not what it is.
You might
Yeah,
have a really good course. The reason
yeah,
it's not selling is not because the material's not good.
yeah,
It's because you're not reaching your dream clients,
yeah, yeah.
right?
And
And
you're
so,
selling the wrong thing, maybe.
yeah, exactly. So it's more like you do need clarity on who you want to serve before you can put any product together. And I know I've been getting that clarity over 5 years, and I had that clarity when I came in the program. And I had, enough material. I knew, like I knew exactly what needed to be in my program. And I think I actually started and so what I did for my program, it's a 12-week program, knowing my low capacity that I had, like I just was busy with everything, and I am all about self-care. So if I don't have at least 4 to 5 hours to myself a day, I don't do something, because I'm a sleep coach and sleep is number one. And so I
Right
will
on.
never take on a stressful project if it causes me lack of sleep. So with the people, that's how I advertise my program, because I said, I'm going to do it over 6 months. And if you want to join me for this beta course, it's going to be cheap, but I promise to have content to you once a month. We're going to meet every 2 weeks, and know that I'm doing that because I can't create the quality that I want in 12 weeks. And so now we have our last call. I've had 8 people join, so they can join at any time. Like
Okay.
your program would join with a specific cohort. With me, they can join at any time, because people who aren't sleeping don't want to wait till the next one. But it's built in a way that they can come in at any time, and I'll support them where they're at. So I had 8 people join. Now they're all excited to come. They're like, the feedback I got was crazy. And so now as I go into the next one, I've taken that content that I did over 6 months, and I'm re-recording it and re-jiving it into 12 weeks. But
Mm-hmm.
it literally took me a day to go, oh, I have this PowerPoint, I'm going to move it there. This PowerPoint, I'm going to move it there. And so now every week I'm taking 1 week at a time, and I'm re-recording, because I've learned from what I did. And so
Exactly.
it's made, right? So I'm going to do this one, and it's the Better Sleep Community. So BSC 2.0. And then when I start BSC 3.0, I already have plans for that, because I want to make it even better, but I
Right.
can't do all the transcripts yet. So I'll do this one. So when people come in, and that's what I learned, a lot I learned from you. I copied from you, because you keep saying, copy from me. I'm like, I'm going to copy from Joey.
Good.
But I made it, and people didn't care that I made it a 6 month program instead of 12 weeks.
Yeah.
They didn't care
Yeah.
that we were only meeting every 2 weeks. They just, and so then what happens is I made it every week. Then when I had enough capacity, when the material was created, I'm like, let's meet every week. They're like, yay, let's meet every week. And now we're going to meet twice a week when it starts again, because I have capacity. The
Wow.
material is created. I don't have to do all this work,
Yep.
and they're going to get, and I've already got quite a few people that have been asking me about it. So we'll see
Wow.
what March 10th brings. So, right. And, but it's all in the way that, and even so much to say,
Go for
even,
it.
when you say you never actually advertise Atlas, but you slip it in everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got really good at doing that. I
Yeah. The
just
little
slip it
seeds.
in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, and yeah, but that happened the other day in the Better Sleep Community. You should have seen this, or the other day. And then they're like, well, what's the Better Sleep Community? Oh, that's my online program where we talk about whatever. But I can, like, and in all my YouTube videos, I slip it in there,
Yeah.
because I want people to know that that's how we're working now. And yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I do it naturally now. It's not like it's like a program of like, okay, here's where I'm
No,
going to insert the thing. Like it just comes up naturally in a
no, it comes up
discussion or
naturally. Yeah.
a context, whatever it is. And then a lot of it has to do, like I might use it a lot of times where somebody's asking about pricing or like high level, like why do you start at the high end or something like that? And you need to get on calls and like whatever the objection is or something. And then that's when
Hmm.
I can easily say, well, even for my $3,500 program, I don't have to get on a call. Like, so it's that seeding, but at the same time, it's telling them, oh, he has a $3,500 program. So they don't
Right.
already know the price. So that's going to repel people who are like, well, I'm only going to pay $97 or whatever for something. I don't even have trouble with the pricing because it's already out there. It's already seeded, even though there's really no sales page to go to and say, oh, this is how much it is. They already
Yeah.
know it's in that $3,000 range. And when you see the actual Google Docs sales page, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of figured it would be this price, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's all it is like, don't be afraid of mentioning the product and how much it is and all that. And it seeds somebody in and then when they trigger, for me, it's Atlas, they'll be like, oh, this Atlas thing, let me know more about that now because they've heard about it,
Yeah.
and you're right. That's part of the marketing process, but it's not this
Yeah.
pushy
It's
thing.
not
Like,
pushy at all. It's just
yeah.
actually telling the truth about it. And most people, I love to get on Zoom with them. And I do that for
Yep.
2 reasons, because there's sleep issues I can't help with. If their sleep issue is non emotional or due to stress, then I don't work with that. And
Okay.
so I like to speak to them. And if their sleep issue is also because of like severe trauma, then they need a mental health professional. I
Right. That's
can't
not
help with that
you.
as well. So that's not
Right.
me. So I like to be able to talk to them, because my superpower, Joey, because you say we have to look for a superpower. I recognize that because of my own trauma that I've had in the past, I'm really good at picking up on people's unsaid words.
Right.
And so because I've always had to like be on the lookout for people's body language, I'm so good at that that I can be on the call with someone and know whether they'll fit or not, but I have to see them. I love getting on calls with people because as I'm talking to them, so my new client, so my dream client, like you could not make her more perfect. And and I could
I
read her
love
body
that.
language and I could tell she was dysregulated and nervous and all the stuff that she feels is wrong with her. I could feel it too. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on her.
Yeah.
Because I know one, I know how she feels, and I know what the other side of that feels like too.
Yeah.
And so I know exactly how I'm going to get her from there to get her on that vacation she wants to go to. I know
Yeah.
exactly because and so now I'm only taking clients per like for one-on-one part along with the program if they fit that feel. If I want to be on an island with them and there's no one else to talk to, they would all be there. They would all get along because they're all the same. Anyway, I should get going to my next thing for the
Thank you
day,
for this,
but
Carol. I appreciate you.
um, you're welcome. And yeah, like I'm easily reachable through email. You can, if people wanted to know, you could give them my email address. I would definitely connect with them or even through Facebook
Yeah, I was
Messenger.
just going to say, can they ping you maybe on Messenger too and just say, hey, I
Yeah,
want to talk to you about this? And you'll tell them the good, bad, and the ugly about everything that's happened.
everything. Because I don't
Beautiful.
hold back.
Beautiful.
So I tell it like it is. Like, yeah, there's times he forgets to hit record, but you know what?
Yeah.
He's human. I'd
Yeah.
prefer to
Yeah.
have a human than a robot. Right? So
You are
yeah,
amazing.
cool.
Thank you for being an Atlas. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
And I will see you in Atlas. Have a great call. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye.